And we're live. All right. So, disclaimer, all things talked about here and opinions given are of the people in this episode, which is me and him, and are not a representation of the DoD or Department of War.
Has to be said.
Again, all things talked about here are the experience and lessons taken from individuals in this episode and do not represent the views and opinions of the DOW. Did I say DOD in the first one? I think I did.
Yeah. You should do it again because they could use that against you.
Nah, I'm all good.
It's like Department of Defense does not exist anymore.
Does not exist anymore.
Therefore, disclaimer. No, what's up, man?
No, but I'm here with Cristian Gerbe. I always mispronounce your last name. So people meeting you for the first time. Who are you and what do you do?
So my name, Cristian Gerbe, Staff Sergeant Marines. Just got to Great Lakes, I-9 duty, as we call it, unicorn duty station, right? It's pretty rare to come across. But coming off the drill field, July last year, I had the ability to kind of request where I wanted to go, for reasons concerning family. So, I'm just happy to be here, man. This is actually where I grew up.
Yeah, me too. I'm from here as well.
Yeah, man.
Chicago.
Chi-Town stand up. Southside.
Oh no, I'm not that real. I'm a little bit northwest. But okay.
Suburb stand up too, man. Shout out
Naperville.
Evanston.
Okay, so did you originally want to become a Marine or did you just stumble upon it? How that came to be?
So I actually joined when I was 26. So I'm 35, right? So
okay.
I actually hit my what day are we on today? What February is it today?
February 4th.
2 more days and I hit my 9-year mark.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I joined at 26. So I have 3 kids now, 10, 5, and 1. Camila, Selena, Luis. And yeah, I already had a 1-year-old. I didn't have that job security. I always wanted to join, but it felt selfish to join, man, because around the time I initially wanted to join, it was just me, my mom, and my sisters, man. So
okay,
I felt like I had to step up into that position of like being the man of the house. And I don't know, 3 months just seemed like a long time, and I kind of put my dreams on hold. Rest in peace to my mom. I'm so glad I did. But when I joined 26, I was kind of reaching a point where I was like, okay, like something's got to give, like I said, hey, it's never too late, right? And I had friends that, since I was older, I had friends who, were combat vets, who had gotten out already, done their first contract. And when I told them about it, they were stoked. They were like, bro, you'd make an awesome Marine. Like, you're so cool to be with, bro. Like you'll get along with people just fine. And I'm like, okay, man. Like, and it's the best decision I've ever made. I absolutely love the Marine Corps. Everything it represents, everything it's given me, man. Like, and I say that with passion. Like, you know what I mean? The Marine Corps has taken care of me, man, since 2017. Cinco de Mayo, Charlie Company in 2042. When I did that about face step, that was like entering into just a new era. I felt brand new, man. Like a convict getting baptized for the first time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just felt like somebody who had just left everything behind and just started fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always say the same thing with the Marine Corps is the best decision I ever made. I didn't have the same trajectory as you though. I joined out of impulse. I had nothing going for me though. I was 18, right out of high school.
Yeah.
I've always been a little rebellious.
Good for you.
And yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna do this thing because I don't know what to expect, and it sounds exciting, and I don't, it might give me some structure, right? And 6 years later is best thing ever. I mean, I'm here with you. You're one of the trajectories that it took me on, and all the people so far here are all people that I've met, and they all have some great stories. They're great reasons.
Same. A lot of good Marines.
When you left boot camp, I'm sure everybody has that. I want to be a drill instructor, but did you actually think you would get there? I mean, at some point, I had the same thing. It's like, oh man, that looks so badass. I want to do it.
So I'll tell you something, and I'm sure you're gonna relate. The viewers, I'm sure you're all gonna relate to. You're gonna see this and be like, yeah, I did that too, even if you're too proud to admit it. But in the schoolhouse, so I'm a comm guy, right?
Yeah.
By trade, 0621, turned 29. So um when we were in the schoolhouse, it was me and 2 of my buddies. We had formation every evening, before we get released for to our free time or whatever, and uh, we used to walk up and down the platoons pretending to be drill instructors. And I know, fuck, like
No,
I,
everybody has it.
I'm not too proud to admit it, man. There's people that are, but some of you, you
Yeah.
know who you are. Some of you were even there with me, but yeah, we used to walk up and down the platoon and do our little, like just being stupid, man. And but in terms of like wanting to be a drill instructor, I don't know, man. It had been a long time since I had been inspired the way I was when I would see my drill instructors, right? Like meeting them for the first time, Black Friday, I didn't do any research about what boot camp was like. I
Mhm.
had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah,
And when we're sitting there Black Friday, left hand, left knee, right knee, sitting, on our
yeah.
butts, I'm looking up and I see them do the walkouts, and I'm like, what the fuck did I get into, bro?
Mhm.
And then they do that step together right face
Yeah, and then
snap, and
the
I'm
whole
like,
the whole speech and everything.
but like throughout the cycle, um, you know, I I don't know if every drill instructor is like this, but I knew mine were, is they maintained a solid demeanor the entire time. And
Mhm.
this is when we had 1 week of Marine of M days.
Yeah.
Um, I believe it was a week, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a very short time compared to now.
Mhm.
Where we taught yes sergeant, no sergeant, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, getting back to that, you're human again.
yeah, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like they didn't loosen the leash too much, man. Like
Mhm.
they still smoked us, you know. It's like fear,
Yeah,
get on your fear, allegedly. But I have to say that, right? But
allegedly.
they inspired me, man. Like I would see the work ethic they had. I would see how tired they were. I would see, like, I remember I would see my drill instructors pushing their fingers into their eyes, and I didn't know what the fuck that was until I became a drill instructor, and my
Mhm.
head would be pounding from screaming, and I would run behind the squad bay where the recruits couldn't see me, and I just do this. It would alleviate the pressure. Your
Mhm.
head's just pounding. The only way it stops is by screaming more.
Yeah.
But like, I was so inspired by them, man. I was like, I want to be just like them. And like, slowly but surely, I saw myself kind of like picking up on their mannerisms, the way they talked. Like, they made an impact, man. Like, I knew I wanted to be a drill instructor, right?
Mhm.
So I would say since boot camp,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have that, or a lot of Marines, and, eventually they get to where they are, and they lose the love out of it.
They lose the passion, man,
Yeah.
but you can't blame them. I mean, there's that Marine that gets to their first duty station and they don't know anything about the Marine Corps,
No,
right?
you don't, yeah.
And they just get that leadership, man, that just lets them down time after time after time. Oh, you screwed up? Paperwork. Oh, 6105. I only need two to add set B, blah, blah, blah. I recommend NJP. Like you get leaders like that
Mhm.
who are more lenient towards doing something like taking the paperwork route,
Yeah.
right? Which, there are times where that obviously that is the right thing to do, right?
Mhm.
It's in black and white. But there are also times where you got to consider, like, why aren't these leaders as lenient towards offering an opportunity at giving this Marine that leadership example by offering guidance and mentorship,
Mhm.
steering them in a different direction. Why are we so quick to just, no, man, fuck you, paperwork.
Yeah.
It's on the printer, go get it. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people lose passion.
Mhm.
They lose an admiration for what they maybe at one point believed the Marine Corps represented
Yeah.
because of leadership. I think it's
Yeah, leadership. I had a guy here, 2 guests ago. He was also talking about one of the reasons he got out is because of that.
yeah,
The episode hasn't released yet, but he was like, "Yeah, man, I just got beat up.
yeah,
I performed well, but at the end of the day, I couldn't do it anymore,
yeah,
right? And solid guy. He came from our RSS,
yeah.
and then the RSS stands for like sub recruiting station. It's where recruiters go out and recruit. Some of the Black Friday he mentioned earlier is when you get your 4 drill instructors that you're going to get for the rest of the 3 months of boot camp. Just for those that are not wary of the lingo, the language, the
Excuse me.
everything.
I could elaborate on that, but I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, just to sum that up. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, man, I couldn't do it. I'm getting out for different reasons. I've always had great leadership. I've had the blessing
Yeah,
of all the leaders I've had directly for my sections is they're like, I experienced the things that I didn't like. And I'm not gonna do those things
yeah,
because I know I didn't like it.
right.
So I can be the change
Instead
be-
of the repeated
instead of
cycle.
their appearance cycle and create more people that uh, you know, get out because of the reasons of who's in charge above them.
Yeah.
And it's not just the military. I've met people who work in corporate and they're just like, fuck, my boss is just always just on my ass,
It's
or
universal, man.
it,
Yeah.
it goes everywhere. It's
It's
just not in
ridiculous.
the military. Being a leader everywhere you are, and military has its standards of all of it, but it makes a big influence because they're in charge of you. They report on you, right?
Yeah.
This goes on anything, and for
Evaluate.
us, it goes in evaluations. It goes into getting
Absolutely.
promoted.
Yeah, man.
That means pay raises. If you have a family, that extra money can always be good. Um, and then it's just opportunities, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Always be the change you want to be or you want to see. Start there or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I mean, like, I have recruits that I've graduated, and they'll reach out and they'll say, "Hey, Staff Sergeant, guess what? I just got promoted to meritorious corporal. You have any, or just promoted, whatever,
Hmm.
like, do you have any advice?" And I tell them all the same thing: be the corporal or be the rank that you just got promoted to that you needed, right?
Yeah.
So like, just be the change, man.
Hmm.
Oh, my corporal treated me like dog shit, right? Never taught me anything, never led by example. He was more of a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy. He didn't emulate the standard that he wants me to
Hmm.
exhibit, but like, you know what I mean? Like, let me act like him and repeat the cycle. It doesn't make sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's counterproductive to the overall, mission
Hmm.
of this gun club. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So you see it more often than not.
Yeah, it's like I, I think, was it a book or was it a movie? But it was two sons. Um, they both grew up to be differently, watching their drunken father. So
Mm,
one of them turned out to be a drunk just like his father,
yeah,
and the other one turned out to be this successful, like, he has his family, he has money and all this other stuff.
that's interesting.
And somebody asked him and was like, "What was it that made you this way?" And they both had the same answers, like, "I watched my father." Right?
Yeah.
One decided to follow in the steps, right? Because if you don't know any better, and then if you don't really try to think outside the box or kind of, be a little bit more aware, it's like, I don't have to be that. I can be the opposite.
Yeah.
And then that's what the other brother did. It's like, I watched my father and I hated that, or I didn't like that. So therefore, I will not do that. And I think the
Interesting.
same way can be said for all of us that get promoted.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely, man.
is I didn't like that, so I will not do that.
Yeah.
It
Let me
made
not
me
do
feel
that.
this way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's just different ways to go about it, right? Being a leader is part of being a science and an art. Is the You have all the things that they teach you, all the philosophies and whatever. That's all the science. The art is the application of it. It's
Right.
for you to be creative on, like, how do I apply this so that the people that I'm leading, can put their trust in me and follow me in a way that they're being led and inspired.
Wonderfully said. Yeah. So that also ties into our perception as human beings, the human being aspect of it being like, how do you learn, right?
Hmm.
Do you learn by watching your older brother or your dad like make mistakes?
Hmm.
Do you learn by just seeing the outcome or the results of, everything they've done in life, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be good or whether it be bad, or do you learn by going through it yourself?
Hmm.
Everybody learns differently, right? But
Yeah.
like, the best case scenario is if it's, let's say, somebody who, has a shitty outcome, is you want to learn by seeing and telling
Hmm.
yourself, that's not what I want to be. That's the example that I don't want to emulate at school,
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We'll talk more about, I definitely want you to let me know what book that is. I think that'd be a good
I
read.
can't remember what it is from, but yeah, that was one of the things. And my life experience was like that. I'm the oldest of
Yeah.
my siblings.
Hmm.
My father has a maximum of high school education, has worked ever since he's had me.
Yeah.
And, he didn't have that many opportunities, right?
Yeah.
He had me at 20, he had to work a lot. Uh, he was able to give me what he could.
That's a lot, man.
Not that I knew what it was when I was younger, but I definitely know now. And I looked at all my family members. I'm like, damn, nobody is. They were all role models of things I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
Not that some of them were bad; they just didn't really
Sure.
do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what can I do? Like, what is something I could do that's different that would not lead me to be that,
Right.
right? Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but definitely as you get older, you're so habitualized in your ways that you're just like, I
Yeah.
can't really do much.
Yeah, it's muscle
You
memory.
you're just
Yeah.
there like, yeah, I don't want more. I'm not ambitious enough. And not only that, but I'm so young where I can be so ambitious and just work at it hard. And I have no family, no responsibility. I mean, like, this is a big example. I can do this creative endeavor because I'm young. I have no responsibilities other than my job and
Right.
me. I
Right.
am the only thing that is that.
Yeah, it's your free time.
Yep.
You enjoy
So
it. So it's like,
yeah, it's like I clock out of work
right.
and I clock in into this.
Yeah.
And this is not just the episodes I record, but the post editing, the
The editing,
scheduling
the
content,
time consuming.
the reading stuff or listening to stuff that's going to give me a broader perspective to be able to come in and be like, oh, hey, this story right here to what you're talking about is actually a really good take, like I did earlier.
Yeah.
Right. So it's constantly just working, even though the work is not just sitting in the chair. Which I'm sure probably Joel Instructor was like too, because you do a bunch of it, you're in front of all the people that you're gonna turn into Marines. And before that, though, you had all the prep work of you went to the fleet, you had your own Marine Corps experiences, then there's learning up all the knowledge you have to teach them, and there's other stuff like your job was constant. And I'm sure when you probably even left, you're like thinking like, oh my god, man, I could have done that better. I could have done this better. Let me work on this to be better for them. At least that's how I would imagine it goes for the people that really care.
Yeah. No, I mean, we call it the give a fuck factor.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
the give a fuck factor can determine whether something that you're investing your time, right, and your effort into
Hmm.
is going to have a result that truly reflects your passion for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't give a fuck about something and you invest all this time and effort and you're whatever, man, it's done, checking the box, then your results are going to speak for your work ethic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like
No.
as far as like DI duty goes, kind of tying into what we're talking about right now is like you see it in the Marines. Once they
Hmm.
get their Eagle Globe and Anchor, not even that, like before you even step off on the crucible, some of them have this whole like, "Ah, I already made it" demeanor. Like, if I don't get in trouble, they're gonna push me through the pipeline, whatever. And they'll drop pack. You can only keep them within the lines so much, right?
Yeah.
But it starts from the beginning, man. Like everything that you teach them, and it's not just what you teach them; it's how you carry yourself.
Hmm.
Like if you're walking around being funny and you want to make the recruits laugh and you want to be this freaking, we call them funny hats. Your recruits are gonna be dog shit, man.
Yeah.
They're not gonna give a fuck because they know you don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they'll look at the other platoons and there's that drone instructor over there that he misses his family, man. Like his girl's about to have a C-section and he's worried about it. And maybe he has financial issues, maybe legal issues, but he's still fucking there.
Hmm.
You don't think he wants to laugh with the freaking recruits, right?
Yeah.
Blow some steam, maybe just kind of kick back a little, but he's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's there, he's tired, he's hungry, he's sleepy, but he's still screaming. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? He's still blowing out his voice.
Yeah.
And the recruits see that. The
Mhm.
recruits definitely see that. And I know that for a fact because, a lot of them have reached out and stayed in touch and they'll say things like, um, you never really broke your demeanor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I really respect that. Or more recently, more specifically, um, excuse me, there was a recruit that said, you were in the classroom teaching us because I was on quota. So drone instructors get a year of quota
Mhm.
throughout the 36-month duty.
Yeah.
And quota is basically where you're working in support, right?
Mhm.
So it's support battalion. First,
Yeah.
second, third battalion, support battalion. Support
Yeah.
battalion is McMap, is McQuist, the pool. You're teaching in the classroom, those types of billets, right? So I had the honor of working with special training company, like the broken recruits,
Mhm.
and just keeping them motivated, keeping their head in the game. Because a lot of them knew all they had to do was pound the pine and say the magic word and they get the fuck out of there
Yep.
because they missed their dog or whatever, but
Mhm.
or their puppy's sick or whatever dumb reason they want to go home and quit, right? Like
Yeah.
my job was to kind of keep them in the game. And then I also had the opportunity to go teach. And when I was teaching in the classroom, the big classroom with the big projector,
Yeah, no, I was there. You
yeah,
San Diego?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, it's just huge.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
it's a
there.
it's a nice
I
class.
would fall asleep.
They just added AC as I was leaving. So that's the
So much
thing.
worse.
Recruits were falling asleep.
Yeah.
So was I out there freaking eyeballs? All you freaking IT, get IT in your, no, because this is like their break away from the training cycle, and you want them to be engaged. You want them to pay attention to this material, which is more than likely death by PowerPoint.
Mhm.
So you got to make it fun, right? So I did take it upon myself to keep them awake.
Yeah.
right? Kind of talk about things that are more relatable to them to keep them engaged.
Mhm.
But I told him, I was like, man, y'all are lucky I'm not over there in the train companies with y'all because this isn't who I am. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and when I left, some of those same recruits were in the same company I was teaching.
Mhm.
So they knew me as an instructor, just, sergeant. I was a sergeant at the time. Sergeant Garibay is over here making hee hee ha ha's about this PowerPoint. But then they saw me over there and they're like, as soon as we saw you coming, we're like, oh, it's gonna be some bullshit. We would all lock our bodies and face the front. I'm like, yeah, man, like y'all knew, dude. Like it's the professionalism.
Yeah.
It's understanding your capacity. Like you said, like we work so hard to get out of this construct that we're kind of limited to based on whether it be environment or financial, whatever kind of we feel can box us in to
Mhm.
kind of stay in one level. But like I don't think rank, billet should ever be able to limit your capacity
Mhm.
of performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as a kill hat, right? There's things you can't be doing, but that doesn't mean you can't outperform every other kill hat in the company
Mhm.
or in the battalion.
What's a kill hat?
Kill hat. So for those of you that don't know, a drill instructor team is composed of the senior drill instructor, right? He's like, the team lead, right?
Mhm.
He's in charge of recruits, the well-being of recruits, the well-being of the drill instructors, well, should be. And then you got the J hat. So for the East Coast Marines, that's going to be your heavy. He teaches drill. He molds the platoon.
Yeah.
Then you have your third hat,
Mhm.
knowledge hat,
Yeah.
tray hat, whatever. He teaches knowledge. So he'll scream the ditties outside the chaha, right? Or whenever there's a movement or whenever you're just chilling. It's gonna be like, oh, battles of World War One, and then we scream the ditties,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it helps us kind of retain that knowledge prior to our tests.
Mhm.
And lastly, you got the kill hat.
Yeah.
His only responsibility, sorry, is to make your life miserable. That's it. You know what I mean? Like if you're a problem child in the platoon, as soon as you wake up and the lights turn on, he's already standing in front of your freaking rack.
Yeah.
Get to the quarterdeck, go die, strip,
Mhm.
push-ups, crunches, all day, every day.
Yeah.
You're marching in the platoon. It's like you're not aligned. You're not like he's getting in your freaking head and
Yeah.
he's making your life freaking miserable. You're
Mhm.
looking around, you're touching your face. Guess what? He's standing right there looking right at you.
Yeah.
And you already know. As soon as
Have
you lock eyes, it's go time.
Have you ever seen that the people that get picked on the most turn out to be really good later on? Because
Yes.
they were just like constantly that pressure. You get that constant pressure. It's like
I'm so glad you brought this up.
because I watch people, even though I went 6 years ago, that were always getting picked on,
Uh-huh.
and they turn out to be great.
Yeah.
And then they went out and I kept in touch. They went out to go to the fleet. The fleet is when you get to your main duty station. You're gonna be there for 3 years. There turns to be great Marines, meritorious. I don't think I ever saw one that did bad, but they're
Mhm.
not to be good. Like they did some like really good shit. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I remember you used to, you know, be on the front of the squad bay, like over there getting push-ups,
Screaming
mounted
for your life.
climbers, just like screaming, your face is red, you got
Uh,
tears going down because San
smack.
Diego is hot, snot because it's so hot out there. And yeah, they turn out to be great. And I think it's just that pressure. And I think eventually, I think eventually some of the guys they would just enjoy it because
Yeah.
obviously some of them just do dumb stuff on purpose. I don't know what for. I was not that guy.
Yeah.
I definitely got picked on a little bit, but yeah, I was not.
You weren't a target.
I wasn't a target. My rackmate was, which kind of sucked because
Months.
he was
Yeah.
um, the guy
Rubble, wherever you're at, I hope
uh,
you stop touching your face, man.
um, wherever like he would get picked on by the drill instructor that came in from the school freshly, and
Oh, they're
big,
hungry.
yeah, he's hungry, and because of that, I would get picked on too, and then
Because you're his
like.
rackmate.
Yeah, he would look at me and I'm just like, oh my God, I just hope he doesn't tell me anything.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, basically.
You get
But
up there too.
and then he ended up, because of how much he worked out, he ended up being a fast that he's like, dude, I've never been this fit in my life. And I was like, I can see, I know why.
It happens like that, man.
Yeah, so it's that pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad you brought that up. So, oh my God. I'm so glad you brought that up. So, I had my so every Joe Schlichter has their recruit that they will always tell stories about. Uh, Mine happens to be Campos, wherever you're at, brother. Shout out to you, man. You did it. You did a good job.
Uh,
But going back,
yeah,
Campos, he just needed a little bit of extra help, man.
yeah,
You know, recruit needed a little bit of extra help.
mm,
But
yeah,
Campos, man, or this recruit, his freaking issue was he just looked like he didn't deserve to be there, man.
yeah,
You know, and he was very quiet and he lacked confidence.
mhm,
So when I saw that, I said, hey, maybe he does deserve to be here, but I'm gonna be the reason we find out. And I was like, and like you mentioned earlier, you can get enough pressure as a person and become a diamond,
mhm,
right? Diamonds are made under pressure, but you can also crumble.
yeah,
So I was the pressure. And he
mhm.
was either going to be a diamond or he was going to be rubble. That was going to be up to him. But I took it upon myself to, and I'm not going to say single out. I wouldn't say it's singling out, but if you keep making mistakes and you
Yeah,
keep having to remediate, you know what I mean? You're,
yeah,
you're not getting singled out. You're doing it to yourself.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
okay.
Picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so every morning, what are you doing? Why are you making your rack? Get to the quarter deck. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I love telling this story. One day, we're doing IT. Um, for those of you that don't know, you're just getting a one-on-one workout session with your drill instructor, and he's being very passionate to make sure you do the exercise correctly. And I'm up there ITing freaking Campos and his buddies, man, and the this is the first time anybody ever broke my bearing, and I want to say it was one of two times. So over 36 months, there was only two times where I was like, "Fuck!" I dropped the demeanor, man. And I hated it because I felt like I could lose credibility from this, but
Mhm.
it was just me and Campos on the quarter deck, and I'm like, push-ups. And I swear to God, he stands up, locks his body, and he says, just kill me already. Bro, when I tell you I had to take my cover off and do one of these, I couldn't stop. Like I had to run in the duty hut, man. And my Jay's like, what's up? What's up? I said, everything cool. I was like, bruh, this motherfucker, like, if you knew what he just said right now, you'd be like, who is it, Campo? And yeah, so that was one of many. I think the other one was we were up north and it was just kill me already. I'm like, stop being dramatic, push-ups. And there's another one, another thing that I probably shouldn't say, where I was like, whoa, you good? Go talk to the senior drone instructor, man. Like that, you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But no, he ended up graduating. By the end of the cycle, he was fast. He was the shortest recruit, so he was our war bag. He stands at the
Mhm.
back of he marches in the back of the platoon. He carries the war bag with all the gear for whatever training exercise we're gonna go to that requires gear. And I'd always be like, war bag, But war bag, or sorry, this recruit ended up being he was tight, man. He was cool. And once
Yeah.
we graduated, the meter changes. Hey, you're a junior Marine, I'm a sergeant Marine, staff sergeant Marines. I'm gonna show you how to talk to,
Mhm.
an E5 and above, right? So yeah, man, congrats to him. Last I heard, one of the drone instructors I worked with is like, "Hey, guess who I ran into?" I'm like, "Oh, no way." He's like, "Yeah, remember? Just killed me already." And we're laughing on the phone. Um, but yeah, no, he's doing good. But there was also recruits that, oh, I definitely can't say his name, but there was a recruit that was like, "No, he does not belong here." I believe I'm a very good judge of character.
Mhm.
And the reason I thought he doesn't belong here is because you could tell he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had the attitude and the eye roll and the, sir. I'm like, you're not fit. You're not cut out for this, man. Like,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, this recruit wants to whatever. Oh shit, you got to go away. You got
Mhm.
to go see a doctor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so um, so you navigate those recruits towards the avenue of the best course of action,
Mhm.
and they get filtered out or they stay in. That's really up to them. But yeah, I did have a very relatable experience from what you just mentioned, man. That was interesting, bro.
Mhm.
That was interesting. That was definitely an interesting experience because by Black Friday, if you're not able to identify all the needs of the recruits just by reading their body language,
Mhm.
just by understanding their mannerisms, seeing how they interact with each other, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a terribly hard time.
So you need to be a really good uh visual of be able to read people visually,
Very
like
observant.
very observant. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
that's the word I was looking
Very
for.
observant because you're screaming, right?
Yeah.
But little do they know, like we're watching everything. We're looking at you. We're seeing how you look around when we tell you to do something because you're unsure of yourself. We're seeing the way that, when you get your free time, you're in the back of the house doing some funny dance. We see everything.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely a good place to learn judgment of character because the Marine Corps, what is the Marine Corps? You always get thrown in a room with a bunch of random people, right?
Yeah.
And you just got to learn how to deal with different personalities, man.
Yeah, it is. I think I'm a very nervous speaker. One of the reasons I do this is to learn how to get rid of it, right? I was habitualized for things that when I went through when I was younger that now I'm trying to get rid of as an adult
Well, you're doing great, man.
because they still affect me. Yeah, one of the reasons I do this is because I'm trying to get rid of the some of the things socially that I picked up while being younger that I know I'm probably don't have, but mentally I still do.
Yeah.
Right? I don't I do have the evidence that these things are no longer part of my character, but this just the mindset that I'm still that
Good.
kid.
Good.
So this is one of those, I guess, redemption arc, creative endeavors part of it.
The healing portion.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can. I'm a big believer that you can try to heal as much as you want, but the kid inside of you is just learns to he grows up.
Yeah.
He learns to live with what happened.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that happened to me. And I have all these things that said I'm no longer that thing. So I
Yeah.
guess this is kind of that
Well,
it.
that's
But
good, man. I'm happy for you.
and yeah, some people say like, dude, you're in the Marine Corps. Like, I would never think you're insecure. And you're a good speaker. I'm like, yeah, but because behind my back, I've criticized every little word I
Brother,
just said to you,
we've
every
heard the worst
conversation.
critics, man. For real.
Yeah, you and I had a conversation yesterday or the other day about
Yeah. I think it was
like
yesterday.
you can be your own self, your worst enemy, your worst criticizer, but you'll be so quick to support somebody else. And be
Yeah.
like, dude, you're doing great, bro.
Why do you
Like,
do that, man?
so yeah, and then we're Hispanic. Hispanic people are so they just
We're
criticize.
raised to be insecure, man.
You get beat down a lot as a kid,
Absolutely.
from everybody, right? And I think the new generations of us are a little bit more supportive.
Yeah.
We learn, we watch for like, I didn't like that. That made me feel this way. Like I know for a fact I probably won't say some of the things or do some of the things the way I was brought up to be disciplined and
Oh yeah.
stuff like
Oh
that
fuck no.
because I'm like, that made me this way. Now the result is up here, still
Yeah.
as an adult.
Yeah.
So if this is the result of the things I went through, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Right. Um,
No, for sure.
so
Breaking generational cycles.
yeah, yeah, those generational curses, chains, whatever they are. But yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you found your niche and obviously I could tell that you enjoy this a lot.
Yeah, it's such a fun time. It's a lot of work. It's like having a second job that doesn't pay me a dime, but
Right, right, right. Maybe someday, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But right now I can tell you're doing it for the passion.
yeah.
And I feel like you're doing it for all the right reasons, man.
Mhm.
So,
Thank you.
props to you for that. And as far as like our inner child, man, like there's just things that you cannot heal medicinally,
Yeah.
right? Like spiritual healing, any type of like inner child healing happens through growth and perspective.
Mm,
And also perception plays a big role, right? Because like two people could be going through shitty times,
yeah.
right? And one of them can look at it as like, this is it. There's no getting out of this.
Mhm.
And the other person can look at it as like, damn, man, like all the lessons I'm about to learn are going to make me a much better person, a much more resilient person, a much more adaptive person, right? Like,
Mhm.
and we don't always see things that way until we go through it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about what you go through, it's how you go through it. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, perception plays a huge role, man. And like, we can even tie this into the Marine Corps, right? Like, let's talk, for example, we've seen that Lance Corporal that got a DWI.
Mhm.
MOL already said select grade 84. This guy was already heading in the right direction. Got a DWI. Now you see him on restriction. He got NJP'd. Maybe he lost rank, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the other Marine who's going through the same thing. Except the first Marine, what does he do? Drops pack.
Just pack.
Stops giving a fuck.
Yeah.
That low freaking grunt fade, right? Blousing's dragging on the floor, doesn't even roll his sleeves right no more. Which, like, not to say performance reflects a Marine's give a fuck factor. I'm not saying that at all,
Mhm.
right? Just because it looks good and I like it and I feel like I perform well doesn't mean that the next Marine who doesn't look like me doesn't perform just as well, if not better,
Mhm.
right? I'm not saying that dictates that. So just clearing the air on that. But we've also seen that Marine that has gone through the same thing and actually shout out my boy Webb, Staff Sergeant Webb. Me and him went through the same freaking thing, bro.
Yeah.
Um, actually, let me go back a little bit. So we were on the same meritorious sergeant board.
Mhm.
I lost to this fool, man.
Yeah.
It was up to regiment. I was like, fuck, like we ran a CFT. We're both throwing up after the 880. We're competitive, right?
Mhm.
And we're both like, our first sergeants recommended each of us for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, right? I look at it, I'm like, man, like, no, I'm not gonna be a meritorious sergeant. Whatever, dog. Just keep working hard, shut the fuck up, no one cares, right?
Mhm.
And I ended up winning on a paper board later when I went home to bury my mom. I was on e-leave. This was 2020, September. But going back to that board, when I lost to this Marine, I started to get to know him.
Mhm.
I looked at it as like this is an opportunity to learn what he did, right? And to be able to kind of like emulate what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because to me, he's an inspiration. Yeah, I lost the board to him, whatever, fuck him, whatever, but he outperformed me,
Mhm.
right? So that's the humility factor of like, cool, I lost to him, but how can I be more like him?
Mhm.
Not him as a person, but
Yeah.
him as a Marine.
Mhm.
And come to find out, I'm not going to put too much of his business out there, but he had gone through some adversity where most people would drop pack,
Mhm.
and he came back and he got corporal through time and grade and he got meritorious sergeant. Now we're both staff sergeants.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like he's doing great things, bro. He's a great person. His character never freaking changed. But I've also seen the opposite.
Yeah.
So definitely perception plays a big role in what we go through, how we face adversity, what the result of it can be as far as our character goes.
Mhm.
It can either be a make or break, but that's up to us, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nobody's
no.
gonna hold our hand.
It's definitely, up to you, and pressure makes diamonds, so
Yeah.
you can either see it as like, "Damn, this is my arc right here,"
Hmm.
or, just
It's
be
over.
crumbled.
Just
Yeah.
tell me already.
Yeah, crumble. Yeah, so, yeah, my friend Jones, he was, the second guest I had.
Yeah.
He's really big on, like, perspective, and I
Right.
think that's one of the reasons him and I are really good friends,
Yeah.
is he is a very considerate guy. Like, when somebody cuts him off in traffic, he's not like, "Oh, man, fuck you, bro, you cut me off." He's probably like, "Oh, man." There's probably, like, a kid in there, somebody,
Couldn't be me. I'm
uh
just kidding.
but especially here, man, the drivers here in this area are just horrible. But,
Not worse than California.
I've driven in a bunch of states and they're just,
Bro, in San Diego, they'd rather commit suicide in their car by crashing into you than to let you merge in
I
front of
don't
them.
know, man, Atlanta's pretty bad. But, yeah, the,
Uh,
yeah, perspective is really big, and it's up to you as a person, right? And the things you've gone through are gonna give you your resilience. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier
yeah,
about how a lot of younger people now are not as resilient. And it goes back to the whole, good men or hard times create strong men, strong men create good times create weak men, and the whole cycle repeats again, right?
yeah.
Um, I think that's how it goes. But
I'm not sure.
uh,
I'm just gonna take your word for it, though.
but yeah, it's we are so, in my opinion, we're living in such luxurious times.
Yeah, we
Like
are.
the people that went in when they were your age
Yeah,
in the Marine Corps were probably, you know, built from a different, I don't know, set of values and stuff like that. Like so many things have changed. Um,
there's still diversity in that, I think.
I know the way I came up, is part of the reason why I made it. I think I had a little bit of resiliency. I mean, I haven't experienced some really rough stuff already, where I'm going into Marine Corps and I'm just like, oh, this is this sucks, but it's not like the end of the world.
Right.
And the thing they always said was the quickest way out of boot camp is just to graduate.
Honestly,
Yeah, that's it.
child to child, bro. Really, just child to just.
I think before I went, the guy was like, "Chow to chow, lies to lie, Sunday to Sunday" was like the thing.
Yeah.
He's just like, and then I never understood what that meant till I was like in week 8, and I'm like, "What the?" I'm like repeating it to myself. I don't know why, but then I'm like, "Oh." chow to chow. So morning, afternoon,
Afternoon and evening
evening,
chow, and then guess what?
and
Free
then
time.
I'm like lights. Okay, the end of the day, Sunday to Sunday, the end of the week, and
You
then
get 8
then
hours of sleep, like
yeah, and then no, you go to bed like 9.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, and then you get provided food. I've met some dudes that were just like, "This is the most food I've ever had."
yeah.
Uh,
No,
this
straight up, man.
this is like I would people watch. Sounds fucked up and like weird, but
No, I
I would
love it.
just look around and be like who are because you just get thrown into a room of like 100 people, and then at
Yeah,
the end of it, half of them drop, maybe
yeah,
a third of them.
yeah.
I started with like 110, 5, something like
Oh
that,
shit, you had a big herd.
and
What month did you go?
October.
Okay.
I got my EJ on Christmas.
Okay. We're
It
here
was
right after J Jazz. We call it J Jazz, June, July, August, September.
um,
They're the heavy months because post graduation.
yeah, yeah.
But I think I don't know. You went at a unique time, right after J Jazz, but still like some of the people that wanted to go right after high school are
Mhm.
still kind of like making up their minds. Maybe they didn't get accepted to the school they wanted to go to. So
Yeah.
by the time it was
I
over,
uh I went right before COVID started. I was 2019. So
oh,
I had the privilege to not go through the COVID phase.
nice.
Which is nice because I feel like everything after that just like
It was bad.
it was just not good. The
It was
same
bad.
training. I heard that people had phones. I was like, when I went to boot camp, I not a big person that talks about my experiences. I'm very proud of what I do and the things I've gotten, but I just don't talk very much about it.
And that's okay, man.
I'll talk about it with people in, but people out, I just can't really tell them because they're
They
just
can't
not gonna.
relate.
They can't relate. They can't understand. It's
Yeah.
all gonna be foreign language to them. It's like if I'm
Yeah.
speaking, you know, whatever language and you speak another
It's
language. We're
like teaching
just
a dog algebra, bro.
yeah,
Like
it's not gonna. So
it's not gonna get through.
um, yeah, I went and it was pretty dope. And yeah, I went. I always tell people, I'm like, I went with $20 and a notebook that had phone numbers and addresses. That was it. And then I heard people had phones, and I'm like, damn, that's luxurious, man. Like,
I didn't have a phone, but
I had to get my phone when I landed back in Chicago from my parents.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's a 3 month. I think of it now. I see it as a big transformation seminar. You go through 3 months of the roughest thing that you might have experienced.
Yeah.
Might,
A
uh,
majority of people that's the longest they've gone being uncomfortable.
yeah.
Like it's not like oh it's hard. Like yeah, it sucks. Some things could be a little rough. You're getting IT'd. You're like damn dog. Like
Hmm.
maybe I should just quit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but then you really got to think about the fact that never in your life have you shared a living space with this many other grown men. Like that first shower, bruh. That to me was that was a culture shock. I'm like, yo, why are we all naked? Like, why is this? But
Yeah.
then
Me too.
by week 8, you're in there freaking dabbing up the homies, like, hey, can I use some of your Irish Springs? Like you know what I mean? Like it just becomes second nature. This is like a brotherhood. You're starting to kind of form that cohesion within this community of people that are suffering the same and going through the same thing. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like that's your support group, man. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like during evening BDR,
Yeah.
we do the 5 minutes of prayer. We would have our little prayer circles, man. We'd all huddle up, like we're gonna get through this, and being all
Yeah.
hodo, and that becomes your family, man. Like
Hmm.
it was rough going to MCT and like not seeing some of my homies again. You know what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean?
It breaks your heart.
But then you make new homies, and you're like, damn, these fools are
Hmm.
cool too, because you're all going through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
You talking about that, not seeing your friends, you've PCS, so you probably haven't seen a lot of friends either. You lose like some of the ones. I'm going to read you something that I wrote about specifically to that.
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
Um, and it was basically explaining the whole Marine Corps experience to how I experienced it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, let's hear it.
give me a sec, let me find it.
Yeah,
But all right, so you talking about not seeing your friends and stuff like that. Me too, because I've met so many great people.
yeah,
Um, so I have a Substack, which is you can write long format essays or newsletters, whatever. Like if you put your email in, like whatever I write can shoot out to you whenever I schedule it.
yeah.
So I titled this one "The Greatest Salesperson," and that's talking about recruiters. Um, and it's
Shout out recruiters.
yeah, and then it's just like I usually start off by summarizing whatever like it's in my mind from that week or whatever, right? Because I run them weekly.
Yeah.
It's like this week has been rough. I haven't been sleeping well and I feel exhausted. But having my friends around me has kept me afloat. We've been hanging out a lot lately, and at least it feels that way. And maybe that's why it hits harder knowing that two of them are leaving soon. That's the part that no one warns you about in this line of work. You meet some of the greatest people you'll ever know. You become family, and then just like that, they're gone, snatched away by orders, timelines, and the never ending task of the military. I've got 15 months left, and it has made me reflect more than ever on my time in the Marine Corps. I bought into the best brotherhood ever, created and sold by the greatest salesperson. So the salesperson, the man in the dress blues, stepping out of a government Ford, looking sharp with the fresh fade. He finds you when you're young, usually right out of high school, and he sells you a dream, tailored exactly to the thing you value most: school benefits, a new challenge, travel, a way out, brotherhood. He has a pitch for every version of you. And if you've been through it, you know it instantly. But when the greatest salesperson ever mentioned was the cost, the pain that comes after the bonds are built, the heartbreak of knowing the people you laugh with, struggle with, grew with, may never all be in the same room again. It's the best and the worst buy-in of your life. Now boot camp. The funniest experience you ever want me to do, you never want to do again. Boot camp, the place where every single word, every single one of us has a story. Paris Island, where real Marines are made, or San Diego, where you're known as a Hollywood Marine.
Yeah,
Never,
Brett.
never
Sorry.
bus rides, screaming, early mornings, no phone, late letters, chaos. You hate it while you're in. You swear you'll never look back. But once you're out, you realize boot camp was actually the easiest part. You were told when to wake up, when to eat, when you move to your left foot and your right foot. Everything was structured, predictable, controlled. And weirdly, we loved it. Always used for bonding. We just didn't know we loved it until it was gone. Then comes NCT and MOS school, where the stories multiply. Cold nights, hot days, sleeping in the field, people from places you've never heard of, becoming the foundation of memories you'll talk about for years. Then you hit the fleet or back home if you are a reservist. But no matter what path you take, you always end up looking back. You think the fleet life is real life, but it comes with its own rules and our organization loves its rules. There are times you remember most field days, barracks, parties, awful rooms, unforgettable cookouts. This is where the salesperson was right. This is where you meet the people you'll spend the next few years with, the people who shape you. Usually it's a mix of someone from a rough town, a cowboy, a Hispanic kid, an Asian kid, and someone from Texas, because somehow there's always someone from Texas. The most diverse group of people thrown together by chance and somehow becoming family. If everyone outside the military experienced this kind of togetherness, the shared suck, the shared stories, there would be less hate in the world, or so I would like to think. The greatest bind. You join at 18, maybe 19. You're just a kid in a uniform too big for you. And then you grow up fast. You spend more time with your Marine brothers and sisters than with your own blood, more time with them than with yourself. You get a barracks roommate. You get a barracks room and a roommate, sometimes two or three. You don't know these people, but they will become a huge part of your life. They'll be there when your car breaks down, when you're broke and need a few dollars, when you need someone to talk to at 1 a.m., when you need someone to laugh with before you lose your mind. You'll do dumb things together, amazing things together. You'll wake up early to work out, eat together, suffer together, and you'll collect these moments not realizing how priceless they are until they're gone. The Marine Corps prepares you for everything except loneliness. There's preparation for preparation, waiting for the waiting, practice ceremonies for the ceremonies, but nothing prepares you for when your boys leave. PCS orders, end of contracts, new assignments, new chapters, or worse, losing them to the quiet battles or the ugliness of war. Nothing prepares you for that. You restart, you adjust, you adapt, and you find new people, great people, but it's never the Golden Days crew. It's never the original boys. Some things shift, some things fade, and sometimes you find yourself eating lunch alone, remembering weekend cookouts, gym sessions, trash talking during video games Friday, PT that turned into competitive sports, and then one day you realize everyone from that chapter is gone. You show up to the next place with a fresh haircut, a pressed uniform, and nerves you pretend aren't there. You walk into a new environment and immediately feel the difference. You miss your boys. You call them. You tell them about the new place, the new people, the new weird rules. You start again. You always start again. Then you get promoted, you gain responsibility, your circle gets smaller. The top is quite quiet, lonely even. The greatest salesperson never mentioned that part. He never mentioned that you meet people who will change your life and then you spend your years learning how to live without them over and over again. But then ask anyone who stayed in, why'd you stay in? Why'd you stick around? Most of the time, the answer is simple: the Marines.
That was cool, man. You wrote that?
Yeah.
That was awesome, dude. That was crazy. I don't think I've ever heard something capture the emotional aspect of how that loneliness kind of sinks in. Like, as soon as you step into that new duty station, right? Like, you got those quiet nerves, right? You're all
Hmm.
pressed, you got your hair cut, but then like something's missing.
Yeah.
Your buddy that used to freaking hit you with the "What's up, skater?"
Hmm.
He's not there anymore. Where's he at?
Yeah.
He's back in Indiana. Shout out my buddy Alex, man. He's in fucking Indianapolis, hanging out with his Labrador Retriever, out
Yeah.
in the woods, walking through a trail, making real money, going to school, whatever it may be. But they're gone. They're not there anymore, man. And like, I've never bought another grown man a freaking birthday cake like I did for that fool, right? And he's from my first duty station, right? Like me and
Hmm.
him, we linked up, we got tight, man. Like he's
Yeah.
really good friend of mine. When times get low or even times are high, like that's one of the first people I call.
Hmm.
He was my sergeant at one point,
Nice.
and I was a disgruntled lance corporal going through hella shit. And this dude, man, his leadership style was a little different, right? Like he wasn't like, oh, let me baby you, right? Let me pamper you, let me cater to your needs. He was more of a like, hey, if you don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
Don't give a fuck. See how far that gets you.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, he showed me what right looks like
Hmm.
just through action.
Yeah.
He didn't have to sell it to me, right? So, next thing you know, he's recommending me for meritorious sergeant. And,
Hmm.
me and this guy got along. We were super close, man. And yeah, I bought this freaking full birthday cake, man, and we surprised him with it. And he damn near cried. He's like, I can't remember the last time someone got me a birthday cake, bro.
Yeah.
Like those types of bonds, you're not gonna find them fucking at a university. I promise you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You'll find a lot of drinking, I think, but
you will,
yeah.
for sure. You'll find fun times, right? But
Mhm.
like the fact that you go through the suck with these people,
Yeah.
back to back ITX, deployment, PME school, things that need to happen
Hmm.
in order for you to stay in that green zone, right? So the Marine Corps is like, yeah, we're gonna keep you because you're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's more than just showing up, and we both know that.
Hmm.
But going through all those shitty things with these people, man, and then looking to your I remember being out in freaking where was I at? We were in the Philippines. It was miserable, man. It was miserable. It was so hot. We were on deployment and we're all in the heat, just trying to keep from heat casing. Like, oh, it's my sixth canteen, man. Like, I can't here, bro, eat some salt. Like looking out for each other. All of a sudden it rains after Index. And we bust out the body washes and we're all out there in our freaking silkies, just showering in the rain, bro, dancing in the rain, like learning how to have fun in those shitty times.
Hmm.
Like when you go through shitty things together, right? You form a bond that's unbreakable, man.
Yeah.
PCS sucks. Seeing my buddies get their DD 214, I'm happy for you, bro. But like, who am I gonna kick it with now? Like it's just
Yeah.
not the same. It's quiet.
Hmm.
But yeah, right in the fields, bro. That was cool. Good job.
Yeah.
That was
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was, this is right before, Jimmy left. Monahan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was, I
So sorry,
think,
Monahan's out.
no, he PCS. He PCS. Yeah. He was,
I like that dude,
he
man.
was my first episode and he is the reason why I even started
Good.
because
Shout out to Sergeant Monahan.
uh,
Good dude. Great dude.
great,
Great guy.
dude, human being, like,
As soon as I met him, bro.
yeah, you could just tell his energy is just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I, going back to the critical part earlier, like being your worst critique and everything. I
Yeah.
was like, dude, podcast so stupid, man. Who are you to create content, right?
Who
And
wants to hear you
yeah,
talk?
who wants to hear you talk? Who wants to hear whatever you got to say?
Yeah.
All this other stuff. And I was just stuck in my head. And I think I told them as a joke. I was like, dude, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. I'm like, would you be on it? And then he just like, he's like, you thinking of starting a podcast? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He's like, you'd be great at it.
Yeah, you
He's like,
would.
it's a great idea. And I was just like,
I told you that on duty too, remember?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's after I had already done the some of the like I was equipment was already bought. I just had gotten my
Oh yeah, I remember you told me.
yeah,
Yeah.
and everything just fell together. It was crazy because I had the equipment research already for like 2 or 3 months. I already knew what I was gonna buy, how I was gonna do things. Like it was already planned out. I'm a big overthinker and prepare. I like to prepare. One of the things I learned about Anchor is like if you prepare, less things go wrong.
Yeah.
Some things can go wrong, but
Right.
less, right?
Less. Right.
Um, and I already had everything. I have the money for it. Like I'm all set. The only problem I had is I didn't have a place. Um,
As in this place? Yeah.
yeah, I didn't have an I lived in a barracks still.
Gotcha.
And then, um, I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna figure it out." And this is where, uh, I was never really religious. I became religious about 3 years ago, like, really, like, where I'm like, "Okay, this is my faith." Um, and I pray all the time. And,
But not God.
yeah, man,
Jesus Christ.
and I've seen just some things just work, and they're just I cannot explain them. But the moment I had some self confidence in me, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna buy the equipment. I maybe don't have where to do it, where to have all this stuff, where to getting into the barracks, you have to go through bays. If I'm bringing people that don't have access, I have to figure that out.
You could have made this work in the Bears too.
So,
I could see it.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the equipment because if I have the equipment, I'm gonna have to be creative to how I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay.
And then
Like pushing yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
and
I
then
gotcha.
I
Yeah.
bought the equipment. 2 days later, they're like, "Hey, all E4s and above are getting kicked out of the barracks.
You rate
You
BH.
rate BH,
That's good, man.
find somewhere to live on in town."
I think there's still sergeants on the depot trying to get
And
BH.
yeah, and, I was like, "Oh my god." I was in the gym when this happened. I was stretching, and I can remember because I was just like the big problem that I had, this big thing, and I was just like praying. I was like, "Man, I just like I'm buying the equipment, but man, I just God, like just help me out here.
I
Like,
couldn't.
let me be creative. Let me find a solution." Right?
Yeah,
The solution just drops in my face,
that's good.
and I'm just like,
That's how life is,
like
man.
I was working out. I was so jolly for like 2. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I'm gonna get my own place. I've been wanting my own place for a long time.
Yeah,
Like I lived. I come up from a low working class family. Like my room was small. Like so many things. I have a scar on my head from not having a mattress because I slept in the metal frame with cardboard till I was able to get a mattress.
yeah.
So like
Humble beginnings.
I have humble beginnings.
Yeah, man.
I guess a story to tell, maybe
Yes, sir.
perhaps,
You absolutely do, man.
and
We all do, bro.
it just worked out. And yeah, no. So Jamie is the push though. He was like the gasoline on the fire that was trying to start.
The Rio Gasolina. Shout out Battle Buddy,
Shit,
man.
yeah, 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 I love it. Which now that you say that, you recently started creating content. Let's get on that.
Bro,
Because
yes.
I remember you telling me about it, but you were thinking about it a little bit. Probably just being self-critical. So what was the push? What
Oh
happened
man.
there?
So, oh man.
Like,
So first of all, man, like it's been awesome, dude. Like it's been so much fun.
I love your content. It's so funny.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That's a really nice
You're
thing to
cracking
say.
up.
That makes me happy, bro. I'm glad. That's the point of it. So when I was on the depot, man, like the depot, for anybody who's planning to go or anybody who's already there, you can relate. The depot's a fishbowl. Um, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the depot before I get into the content. The depot is probably one of the most toxic places I've ever worked at.
Really?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be the top 10% of the Marine Corps, right?
Mhm.
I didn't see that when I was there. I saw a lot
Mm.
of bickering, backstabbing, like grown men gossiping about other grown men in group chats. Like it was the worst place ever, like in terms of that.
Mhm.
I met a lot of amazing drill instructors who had unmatched work ethic that would get stepped on, who would get passed over because they're not gossiping about men with these grown men. So these grown men don't like this. And people would just get freaking shunned and stepped on.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's a very overly critical place that is not accepting of anybody kind of expressing themselves creatively. I saw people who I'm not gonna say any names, but I did see people who were making content on the depot
Mhm.
absolutely get shit on,
Yeah.
freaking desecrated, man. Like it was bad.
Mhm.
Um, so I held off on the content, right, when I was there. I have some videos in my content that were in my archives from my time on the depot.
Yeah.
Like the one where I turn around and I have dementia and I'm like screaming at my grandkids in the back,
Oh, yeah,
because I
I
think
did
they're
say
I made that one while I was in Depot, but I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna post it,
that was
right?
funny.
I'm gonna save myself that experience, so I'm just not gonna post it." But, all my shit was private. I only posted for, like, friends and family. Um, but as soon as I left the Depot, I was like, "Man, like, I really like making, like, dumb, funny fucking videos, man." Like, it brings me joy, and,
Mhm,
like, I did grow up as a musician, playing drums. I played drums for over 9 years. I was in a band. I love playing percussion. So like naturally, I feel like I've like always had a knack for creativity and the expression of it.
yeah,
Um, but one day I was just sitting with my daughters, and we're just talking, whatever. And my oldest, she's 10 years old, she's going through like this K-pop phase, and she's like, "Dad, can I make a TikTok on your phone?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So I gave it to her. I had a little tripod sitting around for whatever reason. Uh, but you know, sorry. She grabs the I'm blushing now. She grabs the tripod and she sets it up, and she starts doing her little TikTok, and she's making like a little K-pop, dance and
mhm,
pop and lock and whatever. And she's like, "Dad, why don't we make a TikTok?" And around that time, there's a warrant officer. I believe his first name's Andrew. I can't think of his last name right now. God, that's gonna bother me. Um, Damn, my bad, sir. I'll probably look it up and we'll edit it in because he deserves a shout out. But he posted a video where he's like standing in his son's room in the doorway,
yeah,
and he's like, "Hey, clean up your room." And his son kind of looks at him and blows him off. He's like, "Why don't you freaking clean it?" He just goes back to playing his video game. And this guy's a chief warrant officer now. But at one point, he was second battalion's drill master.
mhm,
And I remember seeing him there when I was there as a DI school student.
yeah,
I was like, yo, that dude's tight, man. That dude's intense. A lot of energy.
mhm,
And you can see it in his content, man. Like, it's all about energy, bro. Like, you could feel when someone's passionate or someone's like being genuine or
yeah,
not, right? It's going to be the difference between swiping or showing some love because you're going
mhm,
to feel it, right? So I watched it like 3 times. I was like, because when he does that, he like looks down and then all of a sudden a campaign cover appears. He
mhm,
puts it on and he starts walking with a knife hand to his son. And I was like, dude, that's so cool, bro. Like
yeah,
someone just like is hanging out with their kid and they just made this video and it's getting all this love. It's not about like the likes, right?
mhm,
It's about the fact that like people can relate.
yeah,
People are talking about it. You have people talking about this
mhm,
because they relate and they enjoy it.
yeah,
And I was like, man, like I want to do that.
mhm,
So yeah, so I was like,
yeah,
I drove to work to grab my hat plaque. My campaign cover was in it. And I told my oldest, I was like, all right, here's what's gonna happen. And she's excited. She's glowing. I'm like, yo, this is like a really cool like bonding activity.
yeah,
And she's giving me pointers. She's like, you should put the camera right here and keep the tripod, dad, and film all the scenes so it's all the same angle. I'm like, I didn't think of that. Like
yeah.
we're brainstorming, we're having fun. And that's the video where I'm like, I think you've seen it. I pop in, I'm like, "Hey, like, it's almost bedtime."
Oh, yeah,
And she's like she looks at me
that's a funny one.
like I'm some dork. She's like, "Yeah, whatever." And I'm like, "Oh." And then she's like, "Ew, go away. You're still there," being all sassy and stuff.
Yeah,
And when the camera pans back, kill hat, Sergeant Garibay, ready, thirsty for blood, right? And I'm just
yeah,
like, like, with my cover on and stuff. And like, I'm not gonna lie. When I first did that, dude, I was like, bro, like, I think what if it's cringy and that negative self-talk, bro. I was getting in my head.
mhm, yeah,
And then I don't know what happened. I said, dude, who gives a fuck?
mhm,
Who gives a fuck?
yeah,
My daughter's having fun. I completed my tour as a drone instructor.
mhm,
I deserve to freaking wear it if I want on video and have a good time with my kid.
mhm,
Because what does that show Marines? Like, oh, look at this guy. He's hanging out with his kid, having a good time. They're
yeah.
making a fun video. And she's laying down with her body locked, saying, good night, Chesty Puller, wherever you are.
Yeah, I
Dude,
remember that,
we
it was
had
funny.
so much fun making that shit,
It's
dude.
so
And
funny. And it's relatable too, like, you remember saying that.
yeah,
There's somebody someone was like, "Good night, Chesty Puller, we're in the FIO and boot
yeah,
camp," wherever,
yeah.
as a
Remember?
joke. Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
funny.
dude. And then I don't know after that. I got in touch with, other content creators. I think before it all started, shout out to Massar and El Tab de Los Santos. Me and him went out for a drink. I
Yeah,
hit him up. I was still in San Diego. I hit him up and I was like, hey man, can we hop on a phone call? and super humble dude, man. He's like, absolutely, bro. What's your number? He hits me up. I'm like, dude, I'm having a tough time on the depot, this, and that. And we discussed it, man. And it wasn't like I think he was still a gunny at the time. I could Yeah, he was a gunny.
Mhm.
But it wasn't like a gunny to staff sergeant conversation. It was just two dudes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like that humbleness made me feel like, hey, bro, like let's kick it. Where are you at? I'm in Oceanside. And we
Mhm.
went out to have a drink and I picked his brain a little bit. I learned about him. And I was like, yo, they're like, this is a humble dude, man. Like, if he's having fun making content, maybe I can have fun making content.
Yeah.
So it kind of planted that seed on the front end. But yeah, man, that video got a lot of love. And people reached out and some of them were recruits. I remember you teaching me. I remember you IT'd me one time. And
Mhm.
and it was like it just created kind of like a bond
Yeah.
with people, with strangers.
Mhm.
Like we wear the same uniform or not. But it just, I don't know, man, it just like lit a fire inside of me. Like the firewood was sitting there.
Mhm.
It was all sprayed up with butane. I just needed that flicker.
Yeah.
And that first video was that flicker, bro. After that, it was like I'm having so much fun with it, dude. Like
Mhm.
I just make random shit now. It's like I got in touch with Staff Sergeant Garcia Soto.
Mhm.
Some of you know him as Battle Buddy Banter. And we started doing collabs, bro. And like just yesterday, I recorded 3 scenes as like a cholo drone instructor, and
Yeah.
it got a lot of love, dude. And like,
Yeah. It was funny. I watched it
yeah,
on the way to before I went into work.
yeah.
It's
Not
funny.
while you were driving, because that's not allowed.
No, no, no.
Okay, cool, good to
No,
go.
no.
Just making sure.
It's but, yeah, no, it was funny. I was dying.
Yeah,
It was like, the whole, uh, what is it? "Sir," it's like, "I don't speak Taco or Mofongo."
that shit took me
And
out, dude.
it took me out. I was in my desk and I was just dying.
Home Depot not screaming. I was like, bruh, overkill,
Uh,
dog. Damn.
I remember his videos started popping up before he had all the followers he had,
Dude, yeah,
and they were so funny. And I have one of my best friends, he's Puerto Rican, so I understand like some of the things, like
yeah,
the context, the words, the food, whatever, right?
yeah,
Everything. So it just makes it 10 times funnier to me.
dude.
And yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're great. Um,
A little bit more about him is the dude is very passionate
mhm,
about his writing.
yeah.
Like he reads books on it. He put me on a book. I can't remember the author's name off the top, but it's How to Write Funny. He's got 3 versions: How to Write Funny, How to Write Funnier, How to Write Funniest. And he's like, bro, you gotta read it. You gotta read it. You gotta read
Mhm,
it. And I'm like, okay, but like life happens, right?
yeah.
Finally, yesterday, I'm like, fine, I'll sign up for Audible. I did,
Mm.
and I got a free month trial. So, Siri is gonna remind me to cancel it in 28 days. But I did get that first edition.
Yeah,
But the way he talks about all these layers of comedy, like things that we don't think about.
yeah.
Like for example, I don't know if you've seen the video about the haircut. Marines after they get a haircut. I'm like chilling without a haircut and I'm like all nervous. I'm like,
Mhm. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
it changes. And like he freaking he like surgically like tore that video apart as far as like all the layers of comedy that I didn't even know I was
Mhm.
exhibiting, right? Like he kind of like he teaches me, bro. And like the way he talks about content creating is like it's such a bird's eye view like perspective.
Yeah.
Like things I wouldn't think about is like
Mhm.
I've only been making content for I think like 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
We just hit 1 million views. Super fun, really fun time.
Congrats.
Thank you, man. But the way he talks about it, bro, definitely learned a lot. So I just want to make sure that that's mentioned along with his name because he definitely deserves that credit, man.
Yeah, you can tell too whoever does it, as a passion,
Yeah.
and then, I think he brings in his Marines into it because he has other people.
Yeah.
That's another, and you brought up your kids too, so one of the things I was thinking about when you brought that up is technology, especially phones now, seems like it's such a negative thing.
Yeah.
It's like kids are on social media, kids are watching Netflix, or the iPad kid, the whole
Yeah.
whatever. I think, you can always inverse that. So
Yeah.
Charlie Munger, he is this like historical GOAT investor. He had this philosophy about inversing problems.
Yeah.
So if social media or iPads or phones or whatever are a problem, how can you switch the problem to, make it good? And I think you saying that you were making content, because let's say you make TikToks with your kids. or Instagram
Yeah,
reels or whatever, you don't have to post them, but it can become a bonding time. It can
definitely.
become a time where, you get them up and outside.
It's constructive.
It's right.
Yeah,
It cannot just be like, well, I'm gonna give the iPad to them and
like
then
just
I'm
go on your
just
phone, leave me
on
alone.
your phone. Yeah, right. Or it
Yeah,
can be like, oh no, let's bring this together, right? A creativeness of being a parent. Because as a parent, you're learning all the time. I'm not a parent, but I did help take care of my younger sister,
yeah.
and I had to be creative with
We're
her,
always learning.
or like she wanted a different meal, or I don't know. Yeah, like I learned that as a kid when I was younger, right?
Yeah,
Helping out my parents because they worked a lot.
yeah.
Um, I definitely that's probably the closest I've ever gotten to feeling like a parent, I guess, because I would cook for her. My parents would be sleeping. They're tired from work.
You took that paternal role, man. Yeah,
And it was awesome. And now my little sister, I mean, she looks up to me a lot. Uh,
good as it should be.
and yeah, it's really weird to see her opinions of me because she's so much more intelligent than I am in school, and her perspective. She's a little more emotional.
Emotionally
Um,
mature, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, I can
like
see that.
it's just, and I think it's just a thing of girls.
Most things are.
They're just very observant. I don't know if it's in their instinct or whatever,
It's because
but
they mature early,
yeah,
so they look at us like, man,
but
these
yeah,
guys
no,
are dumb
like
guys, you know.
you said, you're having this bond time with your kids and you're loving it. You like it, your kids enjoy it. Like it's this positive thing. And then other parents that are probably, because there's a bunch of us in the military, they're like, oh my God, like this is so funny. My husband does this or my wife does this or whatever, right? And then you're just not creating this thing for people to come and bond and laugh at. I
Yeah,
find them hilarious, dude. I love it.
good. Thank you, man. I haven't had any like weird. Well, I don't want to say that. There are some people I worked with at the depot who maybe had a less than favorable interpretation of me and who I am.
Hmm.
Who maybe didn't like me, right? I mean, I can give a fuck, but they're in my stories every day. So that's like the only like weird
Yeah, they're
they'll refuse to follow, but they keep popping up in my
popping up.
stories. Like that's the only like weird, not weird, but like I guess you could say like just bad experience I've had from it. Not
Hmm.
not really even bad. I can care
Yeah.
less. I could block them, but I choose not to. Whatever.
Yeah.
Watch me freaking have a good time. I don't care. But apart from that, like I think I only had like one hate comment and it was it was like you and your family are garbage. And I was like, whoa, like
Damn,
what
that's
the fuck?
so left field.
Yeah, but who
But
cares? It's a good time, dude.
yeah.
It like none of that will ever outweigh the positivity. I get to offer Marines like mentorship opportunities
Mhm.
and give them guidance in their careers. And like that to me is what makes it all worth it, dude. Like that's what makes it worth it. Cause like if I had somebody I was closely, related to or not in the Marine Corps who was a staff NCO who maybe I looked up to them, maybe I liked the way that they thought or the way they worked, their work ethic, how they mentor, right? And then I see them posting like something that's relatable that they're just having a good time doing.
Mhm.
Because you can tell when people are chasing followers and likes.
Yeah.
You can always tell. Like at least I can. Like
Mhm.
I'll see it and be like, don't forget to subscribe and follow. And it's like, please follow me. Like it's not about that, dude. Like you gotta have a good time with it.
Mhm.
Like that because obviously like we're just chilling, man. We're having a great time. This doesn't feel
Yeah.
scripted. This doesn't feel forceful. Like this feels natural, dude. So
Mhm.
props to you too.
Thank you.
But just having a good time, dude. That's what it's all about. If
Yeah.
if you can affect one person positively, then you're doing the right thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? All it takes is one, bro. If I could change one person's life, if I can make someone feel like, man, maybe not all staff NTOs are weird and shitty and just want to fuck my career. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's enough for me, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then that one person you help, they can help somebody else.
Exactly.
And then that person helps on butterfly effect or the chain effect, whatever
There's a word
effect.
for it. Paying it
But
forward, I think.
but yeah, that and no, I agree. I mean, I'm gonna keep watching. We work in the same area, not directly with each other, but
Appreciate it, bro. Roger that.
I'm gonna keep. I love it. Like when Battle Bunty came out, loved it. I think there was previous YRT or YRF Tony. He's
Oh, that dude, yeah.
yeah, him.
Yeah, that dude's
I
hilarious, dude.
I saw him starting when I was in my last duty station like 2 or 3 years ago. Me and my friends at work loved it.
He came out around the same time to do with the Skittles.
Yeah, yeah,
What's
him
his name?
too.
As long as we track him.
And long yep.
That dude's funny. I think he got
So
out.
yeah, he did.
But where I have Tony, bro, that dude's a comedian in my eyes.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah,
I every Veterans Day, I always remember it. He has a skit, one of his oldest skit where he's like going into a veteran restaurant that doesn't like him. He's like, "What can I get with this?" And he pops his cack and he's like, "With that, you can get the fuck out." And I'm just like,
dude, that's what I was talking about, bro.
and like every Veterans Day, this last one, I did the same thing, and I put it on my story. I was like, bringing this fucking like gold thing back.
Dude,
It's
that's
so fucking hilarious.
yeah. I talked to him recently too, man. He laugh reacted or he like put some laugh emojis on my video, and I reached out to him and I was like, "What's up, dude? Like, hope all is well with you, bro." And I think I was like, "You're one of the chosen ones, man. Take care of yourself because this dude he's gifted, man. Like." Battle buddy banter, dude's gifted. Freaking, one of the few like there's not many content creators that I feel are as willing to reach out and
Mhm.
be like, "Hey, dude, like I like what you're doing. Like I have some traction already. I'm gonna shout you out." There has been a good amount.
There is.
Like I have been blessed in terms of that. So I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but like Wire of Tony is definitely someone that reaches out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so is El Top, Mass Iron for sure.
Mhm.
Battle Buddy Banter. Like now I'm gonna start shouting people out. Freaking hashtag Big Warris. Tony can do it. If you've seen his comics, which I know you have.
Yeah.
Dude's hilarious, bro. One day I was like, dude, it'd be hilarious if I was in one of your freaking skits. And he's like, bet. And he just made it happen. And I was like, dude, that was a big day for me.
Yeah. There's you saying that, my current Instagram page where I post this, because I have my personal page,
Right.
and then I separated another one
Yeah.
because I didn't want to collide the worlds
And I
together.
feel I need to do that too.
Um,
Yeah.
but there's this was a themed quote page where I just posted like quotes that I was just thinking about.
Yeah, they're solid too, man. Yeah, yeah.
So that is actually taken. That one has a picture of me. The other one had a picture of my old page. Um, and I had like 400 posts. I did this for a year. And what helped me was a guy who had like over 2 million followers.
Oh shit.
Um, and he would help me and we collided together, but it was just me tagging him
Yeah.
and he'll like just share his post with his community and allow me to bring a following. And this
That's
was
good.
it would like before I even started creating videos or anything for a year, I was creating like Instagram
Yeah.
posts. I was creating 3 or 4 Instagram posts a day.
Yeah.
I would sit down and plan them out, whatever. But this dude, till this day, he shares my content.
Right.
And he has over 2 million followers. And
And
I've never met this dude, but
yeah,
coolest dude ever.
humble.
Humble.
Yeah.
He's a student. He came from Africa and he's here. And now we've touched on personal basis through text messages.
Yeah.
And there's just people
That's
out there that
good,
are
man.
creators that are just, he has like over 7 pages, manages them, over 2 million. And he's just like, yeah, bro. He's like, you're starting out. I remember when I started out. Yeah, bro. It was so simple.
That
Create a thing and
good.
just,
I'm glad you brought that up because, and not to cut you off, but
mhm,
I swear if I don't say it, I'll forget. But this is kind of tying into now being that leader that you never had, right? Or that you want to be like, right?
mhm,
So like a content creator with a platform,
yeah.
they can either gatekeep, these are my followers, fuck you, like work hard on your own, I had to
Mhm,
do it, whatever. But the content creators that already have a platform that are like, man, I'll show love. It costs me nothing to show love and just repost,
mhm,
throw you on my story, because I enjoy it. That costs nothing.
yeah.
So kind of looking back too, like if I'm ever in a position where I feel like I have an established platform,
Mhm.
like, dude, it's gonna bring me a lot of joy to like just bring somebody up.
Yeah, no, of
Hey,
course.
bro, check this dude out. Like, he's funny as fuck.
Mhm.
He made me laugh, and I'm not too prideful to the point I want to be like, he made me laugh, but fucking
Yeah,
why?
I'm too cool. It's like when you go to the club and
That'd be
you just stand there, but you don't go dance.
yeah.
Mm.
And you look fresh. Everybody in there knows you, and your boy's at the door who looks fresh too, but he's got to pay $20. But everybody there. You could simply be like, "Hey, he's cool. He's my boy. Let him in."
Yeah.
But you're like, "No, I used to pay fucking $20. Right? Fuck
Yeah.
you. Yeah, fuck you,
Yeah,
dude."
no,
Like,
and that always gets paid more. Because what if that dude you bring up, he blows
he ends
up.
up owning the club.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you never know, bro.
Right.
And that's why humbleness will always take you further.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Humbleness will always take you further. And like it's kind of counter effective to be like, oh, preaching about humbleness. Like I'm not saying by any means I'm humble, but I recognize what humbleness looks like.
Mhm.
Because I did have good leaders. I had a first sergeant, bro, that took me under his wing, became sergeant major. Shout out Sergeant Major Morris. I hope your retirement's going great, brother. He took me under his wing when I was disgruntled Lance Corporal, just like Sergeant Gurdian. And this fool's like, nah, fuck that, man. He's like, you remind me of me. I joined, I was 26, and I lost my mom too. And I got you, bro. And he put me on the color guard.
Yeah.
He made me the company guide. Like little things that I didn't realize at the time were kind of putting me in a different mindset. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But yeah.
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 Uh, what is it? You kind of answered this already, but it was dealing with the criticism because you've answered it how you kind of dealt with it at the depot a little bit, touched upon it, and then content creation. Now it doesn't seem like you've only done it for so little, so you've yet. But the thing is with social media and content creation is that it's out there and everyone can criticize. But
So I have
how would you like if someone that wants to do it or is thinking of doing it and they're terrified of the criticism they would get, how would you tell them just like, hey man, go do what you want to do?
simple answer for that. Ready?
Yeah.
Fuck everybody else. If they could do it, they would too. And just because they're shy and they transgress those emotions through hate
Mhm.
doesn't mean it should affect you, bro.
Yeah.
Why is some other man's word or woman's words going to stop you from doing something you enjoy? Life is too short, bro.
Mhm.
What's the average life expectancy? 75?
70, 80, yeah.
70, 80? Like, dog, that's not enough time to do everything that we want to do. I want
Mhm.
to be like Warren Buffett one day and be like, I wish I can catch that 300-pound tuna.
Charlie Munger.
Is it Charlie Munger?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I read that wrong, but I saw it in your story.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how you
200.
know I
Yeah.
pay attention, but obviously no attention to detail. I'll go pay for my sins on the quarter deck. Um, but I don't want to be that old dude that's regretful. Like the guy in Inception. You ever watch Inception?
A long time ago.
So do you remember where he runs into his dude that got trapped in the deeper layer of the dream, and he's an old man,
Mhm.
and he's like, I just don't want to be an old man full of regret.
Mhm.
Like, bro, like that right there should be the driving force,
Yeah.
right? Do what makes you happy, man. And I know like so many people say it, it's so played out. Oh, do what makes you happy. Who
Yeah,
cares?
it
Easier
sounds
said than done.
cringy. Yeah.
But like, bro, like people, there's always gonna be somebody that's like, man, I wish I had the guts to put myself out there like that because that's what I really would want to do, but I'm too scared. But here's somebody that did it
Mhm.
and he made me feel insecure. He reminded me about the fact that I'm too chicken shit. So let me go spread some hate. 9 times out of 10, bro, that's what it
Yeah.
is.
There's this episode I watched with a big podcaster. Well, they're really both big. Um, his books, he was the guest. His name is Alex Hermosi. He's big on business.
Okay.
And he's just like everybody wants the view, but nobody wants the right. Like nobody wants to do the rice.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants what you have.
Right.
And then he's like, when people just say this, like, oh, must be nice. And then he's just like, yeah, man, it
It is,
is.
bitch. It is, bitch. I
Yeah.
worked hard for this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's
Yes, it's
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah,
it's just like, and it's just like it makes it so much more unreachable for them.
it
A-
does.
And it's like
It
when
does.
they're like, "Oh my God, you're so talented," or whatever they're saying, right? The reason they're trying to validate why you're doing it
Yeah.
and they can't,
Right.
it's just like, yeah, man.
Yeah, my
It.
best advice to anybody who's sitting on the fence right now, whether or not they want to create content, and I have a video on my page where I do these like I did these car talks, right, about leadership and about humility and about being a mentor versus just stacking paperwork on somebody because you're a trash ass leader. I did one about who cares, man. Like some people need to see what right looks like,
Mhm.
and it's not up to you to decide who needs it, but sometimes the message you send can save a life, bro. Think about that.
Yeah.
You could save somebody's life just making a joke.
Mhm.
Someone could be sitting on the couch, right, with something in their hand that might potentially end their life
Mhm.
with just a click, right? But your video just made them reconsider.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the same concept of like you're walking past somebody, you smile at them,
Mhm.
they could be on their way. home to, I don't know, hang themselves. God forbid, right? But like your smile just changed the trajectory of their life.
Mhm.
Like we don't realize as people how much of an impact we can have on others
Yeah.
because we can't perceive outside of ourselves, right? That's just right. We're limited to human ability, right?
Mhm.
I can't read other people's minds. But like some of the reactions I've gotten to some of the content I've made
Mhm.
is so reassuring that I'm doing something good.
Yeah.
So that like that to me versus like the hate. I think I had some insecure ass drill instructor I worked with. He's like, "Did you even make it up to this level?" And I was like, "Hey, let's hop on a phone call." He was scared. He
Mhm.
didn't want to get on the phone with me
Yeah.
because he knew what he said was passive aggressive.
Yeah.
And he knew that if I got on the phone with him, I was going to make him feel
Yeah.
small.
What's the whole thing? Everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face that Mike
Exactly.
Tyson says.
He would have never
Yeah.
talked to me like that on the depot, but on TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
Live your life how you live it, brother. I'm not going
Mhm.
to judge you. I'll bring it up here because it's funny to me and I think it's relatable and it kind of ties into what we're talking about. But like
Mhm.
those little people, bro, those little voices,
Yeah.
I say little people referring to people who are lenient towards trying to put you down because they're afraid to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Those little voices are not loud enough. Never let them be loud enough to
Mhm.
stop you from doing something you enjoy or you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Fuck them, dog.
Mhm.
Fuck them.
Emphasis. But yeah, um, I had the same similar things when I was posting about it. It took me a long time to get through the camera shyness. And I'm still there, but it's definitely gotten better. The more I'm always a big believer in repetition creates comfortness. It's like it's not that I'm not good at that. I just don't have enough time doing it. Like everything pretty much is a skill I can build. The way I talk to people is a skill that I've built over. I like to travel. I've traveled. I'm like, I'm going to talk to this stranger because they're never even going to remember me that I met them at this city, at this bar, at this restaurant, whatever. And I get to practice. I get to practice talking to them. And that is a skill. Because when people ask me, like, oh my God, you're such a great talker. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have all these things to talk about. I'm like, yeah, you don't see the amount of hours I put listening to content, the amount of newsletters I read that I'm signed up for, the amount of books I read so I can have these like ideas and
You
stuff like
just see the
that.
successful part.
Yeah, you just see this. The my favorite podcaster, Chris Williamson, he has this whole thing. It's like the Rocky scene lasts for 3 minutes when the Rocky arc is like 5 years for a real person or however long it takes,
Right.
right? It's like you see this.
Right.
You did not see the amount of times
You see the result,
yeah, you see the results.
not the
You
work.
you see you everybody wants to view, but nobody wants to climb thing again,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's too damn bad.
Yeah,
You know what
like
I mean?
yeah, it to get where that person is at, they had to make trades,
Right.
trade their time, trade spending time with people, right? All that. It all comes at a trade-off. Can't have your whole cake and eat it too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's a great topic too, man. I'm glad you brought that one up. You saw how passionate I got about it. For good reason though.
Mhm,
Like I said, it's not what you go through, it's how you go through it. The way I perceived the few negative comments that I've gotten here and there, which haven't really been substantial enough to have any kind of, well, they never should be substantial enough to have any kind of real effect on you, right? But in the
mhm,
moment, you're kind of like, are you okay? Like,
mhm,
what's going on, man? Like, is there a deeper problem? Like, do you need someone to talk to? Because I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to receive negativity and feel attacked or victimized by it. I'd rather like identify the root of it. Is this somebody that I can help?
mhm.
Like, why are they approaching me this way? Like, maybe there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Maybe I can, and that's why, it did start with, oh, let's have a conversation. But with how dodgy this person was, it was like, nah, you just wanted to throw shade because I
Mhm.
made you feel small,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it is what it is.
people don't like to they don't like to feel small. Then people in authority don't like to get their authority questioned. It's like parents just like,
Absolutely.
I'm dad. You're not gonna tell
Oh,
me
let's talk
what to
about
do.
that.
Right. So I've been a rebellious kid growing up. An adult, I now know when to, okay, this is not the battle that I can fight.
Yeah,
Even if I am in the right, I can't fight it.
I see where you're going with
So
this. I like it.
um you have to learn it's the whole being the bigger person thing, right?
Yeah,
There's just some things that are not worth arguing for.
yeah.
And then especially with people that are just like they take joy in the I have the power, you don't.
Oh,
Therefore, it's just my way.
who are you telling?
So it's
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how maybe you faced that in the Marine Corps. with your personality, because when I first met you, you gave me a very assertive kind of like a live presence.
Mhm.
And me, I'm confident with who I am as a person
Yeah.
outside of the Marine Corps. I don't wear a rank to say, "Oh, this is my shield to treating people like shit and putting people down," right? So
Mhm.
I didn't feel attacked. But I could see, and we've talked about this too, which is
Yeah.
why I'm bringing it up, is that maybe that type of assertiveness, right,
Mhm.
tied in with MOS proficiency.
Mhm.
Because if you're proficient, you're dangerous, right?
Yeah.
To the adversary, but sometimes to insecure Marines, right?
Mhm.
Because naturally we're very competitive as Marines, right? Oh, this guy knows my job better, and he runs a 300 PA. Man, fuck that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how has your personality? And now I'm asking the questions. How has your personality, and this for good reason, how has your personality had a negative impact on your life in the Marine Corps?
Uh, I I haven't really had that much of a negative impact because the leaders that I had were there to protect me. They're like, yeah, he can be assertive. And I am. I have I'm not a small dude. I'm 6 foot, 200 some pounds. Uh, I have a very loud voice that is very projecting and is very assertive.
We're
Um,
very close in height, by the way, for the ladies. Just throwing it out there,
no, we're not.
Fuck you.
But yeah, so uh it has come where they don't tell me,
Mhm.
but they tell who's in charge of me. And then they come and tell me, it's like, hey, this person said this about you.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm not gonna say where or what
it's
places,
okay,
but
as you shouldn't.
um that has come up.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, well, seeing as what you were saying was not wrong, I just you should probably tell me so I can handle it with them, or just know that that's not a battle you should fight. And that's how I learned where
yeah,
to pick my battles. Cause now when those same situations showed up, I was like, oh, this is that one thing that
yeah.
my, you know,
This was brought up before.
my staff and CO was talking about where they
Left
brought it up
behind.
before. Okay, let me be mindful of this. Let me go tell them where they can bring it up at their level,
Yeah,
or they probably can handle it in a better way. Because I don't have a good. I'm not a sugar coater. I say things how I see them. And I've struggled not even with the Marine Corps, but with people in general,
right.
with people that I've had friendship with romantic relationships. I just don't know how to sugarcoat. And I think part of it is also a shield that I brought up on myself. It's like, you can't tell me I lied to you when I know I always try to tell the truth, because I always say it's so much easier to remember a truth than a lie. Like now, if I'm lying, I have to remember what it was, and then
What did
that's how
I
I get
lie
caught up.
about?
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and that's just kind of who I've always been, and it's caused me issues, but I've never had that much of dealing with them because the people that were in charge of me were great, and they would tell them, and then they would come up to me and be like, "I know you weren't wrong."
shout out good leadership,
Yeah,
for
like
real.
that, and I've never had a bad I've never had a bad experience with my leadership directly.
Yeah,
Like whatever that was above me, they were that bridge and they were a fucking tough one to break.
yeah, and
Um
that's good. That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
like I've had an awesome experience, and I'm getting out, but not because of that. I'm getting out because I got some health issues that I'm dealing with,
Yeah,
and I want to preserve whatever health I got left.
like I told
I
you, man.
I've already had knee surgery. I'm already always hurting. People tell me I'm the oldest 24-year-old they know. I have a machine that helps me sleep at night, and I sound like Darth Vader, and I'm just like,
I
uh,
may or may not have one too.
um, but there's gonna be a whole other life, right?
Yeah,
And part of the reason why I'm doing it is because I also don't meet the standards I have for myself. I meet the Marine Corps standard.
right.
I can pass the physical CFT and PFT, and I meet it, but I is not the thing that where if I were to step in front of a group of Marines and be like, I emulate the whole Marine Corps concept, because I don't. Am I good at my job? I'm all right. It's doable where I can do my job, and I help out the people around me and the person in charge of me to for them to do their thing. Uh, but I just don't, and I'm not gonna sit here and squeeze where they're not getting the value out of me. This is just not the kind of person I am.
Yeah,
And I know some people stay in and they squeeze out for all they can, and they just don't give enough. And those are the people that end up becoming shitty leaders because they're just here because truthfully, everything I have to the equipment of this room to you being here is a return on investment of me making the decision of joining the Marine Corps. And I just don't think I want to pay back by being half-assed. Just I'm just good at my job, not the whole concept.
Yeah.
Would I make an impact? I don't know, maybe. I guess I'll never find out, but I can still talk about the experiences I've had, and maybe that's the impact I make. Maybe the impact is afterwards,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Definitely a lot of truths there, a lot of self-awareness. Because the Marine Corps demands 100%, right? And like you can only fake the funk for so long. Like you hear the expression fake motivation, still motivation. Cool dog. Like if that's enough for you, let it be. Like
yeah.
I'm not here to freaking judge your way of living, your lifestyle choice, whatever you decide to do to just get by, that's
Mhm.
fine. But if you're not counting the days to the next PFT to be like, I'm trying to see what the fuck I'm at. I'm trying to hit this shit the first of the year. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be competitive. I need that 285 or higher. If you're not looking at your PFT like that, if you're dreading the days and you're like, bro, I hope there's not a weigh in that day, like, or like no more Taco Bell, Domino's, and six packs of Bud Light in my barracks room every day, like you're heading in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? But in your case, we're talking about something completely different. We're talking about health. We only get one of these vessels, right?
Mhm.
Like our body's a vessel, bro. That's how I
Yeah.
see it. I'm very spiritual, but you only get one vessel, and like you said you're 24, right?
Yeah.
Your body's sounding like a freaking like a wooden house in the middle of Chicago, bro, when it's windy, right? Creaking, cranking where it shouldn't. And that's if you're not taking care of yourself now, it's bro, you're not investing in yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
like, nah, man, like anybody who's recently experienced injury, and I used to talk to the recruits at STC when I was special training company when I was a drill instructor. And I would tell them, like, hey, if I know your motto, you want to get back to training, tight dog, hoorah, semper fi, ooyah, kill or whatever.
Mhm.
But soon after injury, there's a time period where you are so many more times more susceptible to re-injuring.
Mhm.
And like if you tie that into like the long-term healing process that you're currently enduring,
Yeah.
you're just gonna be on like a backwards like hamster wheel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I had knee surgery, a multi-ligament. Usually people get like their ACL and meniscus.
right.
I got my ACL, my PCL, my meniscus, and strained my MCL.
Your knee
So
fucking
my
exploded.
my surgeon was like, "Dude, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was 20 years old,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "What'd you do?" I was doing power cleans outside because of something for work, and it was early in the morning. I was wearing running shoes, and anybody who does Olympic lifts, especially power cleans, knows that you need specific shoes. People wear all kinds of shit,
The
right?
Reeboks with the strap and the
Yeah,
curved out
yeah,
platform. Gotcha.
everything.
Yeah.
And I slipped. My knee ever so slightly overextended outward. And then I came back in. I didn't say anything. I was in pain. I kept working out. Get to my room, can't walk. Whatever, right?
Probably swollen as fuck by then.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. And I only went to go get checked out because my friend of mine was like, "You hurt yourself, didn't you? You're gonna tough it out." I was like,
Yeah.
"I just popped some ibuprofen. I'll be sorry." He's like, "No."
This ain't that, bro.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, ever since then, um, I was planning to get out of my last duty station. I didn't because my health got better. I was like, oh damn. I was like, I'm actually doing good.
Yeah.
I'm recovering. And anybody who's experienced a bad injury, uh, I don't know how bad of ones you've experienced or if you have any, but I'm sure you do because the drill instructor, 3 years, no sleep. Like sleep is like the superpower of recovery, and you probably got barely any of it for 3 years. So you probably aged yourself a lot.
Oh yeah.
But your body will recover before your mind does. Till this day, I'm still like, if I do this, my leg can
Yeah.
like there's just
The
that
drop
mental,
ball thing,
yeah, there's that mental barrier of
that's a
like,
deeper wound.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I've never yet recover of that. And I still try to go out there, but man, it's just a block that I can't. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna be able to give 100% to the thing that's given me everything that I can owe as an adult. Sure, do I play a part in it? Did I work a little hard? Did my mindset of how I view things play a little bit into it? Yeah, but the reason why my mentality changed is because I'm like, oh my God, there's more than Chicago and the people that I grew up with. There's all these people in this whole world. Like, yeah, you know the war exists, but until you leave your hometown and see it for yourself, you're like, oh shit,
Right.
okay, damn,
Yeah, it's a
right?
lot.
And at 18 years old, when you have no structure, you don't even know what you want until someone tells you want
Tunnel
it.
vision, man.
You're just like
Right.
girls, I don't know, having fun,
Right.
uh, get
Eric's parties.
yeah, get money, like I don't know, whatever.
Right.
I've always been very ambitious for monetary success, and that's just because I grew up poor, right? And I gave materialism a control over me for a while, but I've learned now that it's not really the materials, it's really me.
Yeah.
Like that thing is not gonna bring me happiness.
No, man.
And that's a whole other thing.
They don't bury you with your gold.
Yeah, but I was able to learn that because I was able to have money because I get a constant paycheck and I have a blanket of comfort that I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah.
So I'm able to afford things and I was smart enough to not get in debt. So all this, like a lot of the lessons I've learned is thanks to this. And that's why I would say it's the best decision I ever made that I had no intention of making.
It's good,
It
man.
was just like all right.
Yeah.
Shout out to my recruiter, wherever the hell you're at. Stats Ron Ramos, you're probably a gunny or a mass or whatever. But yeah, man, you got my ass.
Yeah.
And thank you, because that was wonderful. That was great.
I recently heard from my recruiter. She was staff sergeant when she recruited me. She's a mass sergeant now.
Mm,
She emailed me for I think her retirement. Should probably follow up on that. You know, she's like, man, I heard you were at the drill field, this and that. Pretty cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
With so with everything now, but to bring everything to a close, where can people find you and what can they expect going forward from you?
Okay, so Instagram, it's gonna be Garibay, Garibay underscore 773.
Mm,
That's where I post my reels. I might actually post on there more than TikTok. TikTok, you're gonna find me at most turned hat, because I was definitely the most turned hat in San Diego from 22 to 25, in case you're wondering. But yeah, you can find me on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm gonna be making a Facebook probably sometime later today.
mm,
So obviously I'm gonna link it up, but my link tree is on both of them. So
yeah,
any socials that I create, because I'm only 5 weeks in, I'm definitely gonna link on there. So
yeah.
stay tuned for a lot of funny content, maybe some leadership videos. I engage a lot through my stories as well. I'll do
Mhm.
like funny little random like polls or questions and stuff, and usually people get a kick out of them. But yeah, I appreciate your time, dude, for real.
No, thank you for coming in.
This was cool.
You are serving my creative endeavor and everyone who is willing to listen. And I'm sure a lot of the people that encounter you at the depot are probably gonna want to listen, either recruits or people you work with. And thank you. I've never have talked about the Marine Corps like that openly, like with my setup. Like I've mentioned it briefly with my other episodes,
Yeah.
but I've never went in depth of this. And thank you.
Hopefully, I encourage that, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate it
Yeah.
because I gatekeep it. It's like my little treasure,
Yeah.
but it's part of my story because it makes me who I am a lot now. It meshed with who I was
Yeah, dude.
and who I am now, creating this version of whatever the hell I
Yeah.
am right
Who
now.
you are.
So thank you. I really appreciate it, and thank
Absolutely,
you for
man.
coming.
Thanks for having me, dude. I had a great time.